I'm going to go ahead and show you Russian President Putin is open to discussing a ceasefire with Ukraine if negotiations are led by U.S. President-elect Donald Trump. This is where we're at right now. Lots of things are going on behind the scenes. Just want to say this is about as big of breaking news as you can get. We now have reports now that Zelenskyy is talking about a ceasefire as well. They're talking about the land deals. We're going to show you that video in just a moment. This is all breaking news this morning. The Trump effect is taking the world by storm, but especially these wars. It is just amazing to see that whenever you get this strong leader in place, everybody is ready to get in line. But they're ready to start the negotiation talks between Putin and Zelenskyy for a ceasefire within Ukraine. And this actually first started with Putin. This is huge. Now, on the other side of this, we have it where the Democratic side, I don't know what the heck's going on with them, but Biden has just given the okay for Britain to allow Ukraine to use their long-range missiles against Russia. So as Trump is trying to deter it and bring safety and bring peace, Biden is just trying to let open the floodgates for Ukraine to fight off Russia with all the other military equipment from other countries. This makes no sense whatsoever. But on top of this, Biden just gave Ukraine $4.5 billion of debt forgiveness. So we have been giving them over $100 billion worth of equipment and money, but there was a $20 billion loan that we gave to them. Well, Biden just forgave $4.5 billion worth of that, just forgave it. So now that's just added to the taxpayers' bill. We also have news that there's been a massive fleeing of illegals from the United States on their own accord. This is just ahead of the Trump inauguration, but they know that Holman and Trump are not messing around, and it's strange to see that just by Trump being president, illegals are now leaving the country. Trump, with Biden, they were coming in by the millions, but now with Trump, they're leaving. This is insane. We also have it where Governor Abbott of Texas says that he is allocating land in Texas to hold illegal criminal migrants if Trump needs to make sure that they bring no harm to any American. Texas has been the gateway for all the border crossings, but Trump says he will send military personnel to help the Border Patrol. So we got a ton of breaking news to show you. Just thank you so much for joining us today. I want to say thank you to all of our subscribers. If you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button so I can serve you with the top news. And just want to say thank you to all of our members of the channel. If you want to join the True Life News fam, the link is in the description to join, as well as follow me on X. The link is there as well. And if you don't mind, if you can give us a good thumbs up on the video, it really does help the channel. And thank you so much to everybody that gives a super chat donation. We are so grateful for your support, and we are here to serve you. But I want to jump right into this because this is as big as it gets, everybody. Just showed you a while ago, Russian President Putin is open to discussing a ceasefire with Ukraine if negotiations are led by U.S. President-elect Donald Trump. This is as big as it gets. We've been waiting for this. They've been in war for years, and now we're ready for a ceasefire. But on the other side of it, the Democrats are trying to extend it. Check this out.
I think we're watching the most evil thing I've ever seen in my lifetime, which is the lame duck administration leaving the next administration with the world war, with the nuclear conflict, by allowing Ukraine, a proxy state of the United States, to strike within Russia. And I'll just have one editorial comment, and then I'm just going to let you go. But I think that people in Washington misunderstand Vladimir Putin, and they think he's a monarch with absolute power, which is not true. And Russian politics is complex and it's lively, and Putin is very concerned with his approval rating within Russia. He cannot appear weak. That's a huge threat to him. He feels that, I can confirm. And if he can't hide attacks on him by the United States through Ukraine, either on Moscow or big civilian casualties, I think he will have no choice, in his view, but to launch like a serious response against Ukraine or NATO countries or possibly the United States. So this seems like the most reckless thing that's ever happened in my life.
I hardly have words for it. Let me just...
Am I overstating it, do you think?
Let me just say specifically what has been authorized.
Yes.
This is something that some NATO countries, including the United Kingdom, have been pressuring the Biden administration to do for quite a long time, for at least a year. But going all the way back to the beginning of 2022, this was an option that they had, which was that we have these guided missiles called ATACMS, which are very powerful for attacking inside Russia. You can guide them specifically and very precisely to where you want them to go. Obviously, you have to get intelligence about where you want to strike. And the reason we never permitted the Ukrainians to use them is because the Ukrainians can't use those missiles on their own. In other words, if they want to launch these missiles, it's not just the U.S. giving them the missiles and then telling them, no problem, go and use them. It requires the direct involvement of the United States and or a major NATO country like France or the UK or Germany, because the Ukrainians don't have the guiding capability in order to know how to launch these missiles.
Right.
So this is not just us giving them missiles and saying, go attack deep inside Russia. Imagine if some major country, China, Iran, Russia, whoever, gave missiles to Canada if we were at war with them, or Mexico or Cuba, and said, we're giving you these specifically for you to use them inside the United States. We would consider that a grievous act of war, not just on the part of the country shooting them, but on the part.
And I'm sorry to interrupt, guys, but this is what we're talking about, what he's saying right here. This is why articles of impeachment have been filed against Joe Biden. Check out the video from yesterday about over this act of war that was not approved by Congress. This is why things are getting nuts. But the Democrats are trying to put us in war. Trump is literally trying to get us to peace.
Part of the country giving them. What Biden did here is so much worse. He didn't just give Ukrainians missiles and say, feel free to use them inside Russia. We are going to participate in the bombing of Russia, NATO and or the United States, because there's no way the Ukrainians can launch these missiles on their own, which means we are now, our military, our intelligence community, are participating in missile attacks inside the country of Russia. This is something that even the Biden administration, for all their hawkishness on Russia and Ukraine, feeding that war, fueling it, preventing diplomatic resolutions because they wanted this war, even they were unwilling to do it because they understood the dangers of the escalatory risks. For Joe Biden, or whoever's acting in his name, to do this just 2 weeks after the country resoundingly rejected governance by the Democratic Party in the administration, and on his way out as an 81-year-old man, knowing that he has about 6 weeks left in office, to just say, I know that these are massive risks, but I'm willing to take them. I'm 81. I don't really care. And then to make it so much more difficult for the following administration to do what they promised to do during the campaign, which the American people voted for and wanted, which is to resolve this war. Instead, we're risking escalation with the world's largest superpower, nuclear power. Over what? Over what?
If placed in context, too, this is without precedent. And I think it's Blinken. I want to ask about that in a second. But so 1956, Soviets invade Hungary and murder a ton of people. 61, they put nuclear weapons in Cuba. 68, they invade Czechoslovakia, murder a bunch of people once again. These are all, incredibly provocative acts, far more provocative than invading eastern Ukraine. And this was the middle of the Cold War, and no American president, Democrats and Republicans in charge during those periods, they didn't respond by attacking Russia. I mean, there's nothing like this has ever happened. No one's ever been this crazy. I think we're watching the most.
And I'm telling you, like, the way that the Democrats are trying to operate now is really just a slap in the face to the American people, who literally said, we want Trump in presidency and we want these wars to end. So this broke this morning too as well. U.S. authorizes Ukraine's use of British missiles in Russia. So this is where, for some dang reason, Biden and all NATO and all of them are trying to say, go ahead now. Now that we have Putin who's talking to, I just showed you a while ago, Russia, President Putin is open to discussing a ceasefire with Ukraine if negotiations are led by U.S. President-elect Donald Trump. Now that Putin's talking about a ceasefire, I have a video to show you in a moment with Zelenskyy talking about a ceasefire. Why is it that the U.S. is now authorizing for all these British missiles to be used? It makes no sense. It is literally them trying to keep this war going when literally the countries that are in war are trying to stop it. You cannot make this up. This is crazy. Thank you so much, Mashawn Betty, for the super chat. Let's go. And Sheila Brown as well. Y'all are killing it already. Gifting True Life News memberships. JGH, OG Dog. Let's go. I love it. Sandra Marienzi upgraded. Lynn Defoe. Let's go. Y'all show them some love in the chat, everybody. Watch this, because I'm telling you, things are trying to come to an end. And it's like the Biden administration is trying to extend them. Listen to this. This is straight from Zelenskyy.
Have you accepted that under any sort of ceasefire agreement or peace deal that some Ukrainian territory may remain in Russian hands?
We cannot legally acknowledge any occupied territory of Ukraine as Russian. That is about those territories which used to be occupied by Putin before the full-scale invasion since 2014. Legally, we are not acknowledging that. We are not adopting that. On the other hand, we understand that so far we do not have that much of force, so that in the weapons with our hands, we could push Putin back to the line of 1991.
When we look at the
states government and the people behind it, and if that person has all these storm clouds hanging over them, and we think, okay,
guys,
you had your dirty laundry hidden by your buddies in Congress, the American people won't take it seriously. And then we start to look like other countries where you don't have faith in the people who lead us, like China, like Russia. This person who becomes our attorney general has to have credibility as they go after counterterrorism cases. Won't take it seriously. And then we start to look like other countries where you don't have faith in the people who lead us, like China, like Russia. This person who becomes our attorney general has to have credibility as they go after counterterrorism cases, as they go after money laundering, as they go after public corruption. The public needs to know when they investigate and indict somebody that it has the weight of the United States government and the people behind it. And if that person has all these storm clouds hanging over them, and we think, okay, you had your dirty laundry hidden by your buddies in Congress, the American people won't take it seriously. And then we start to look like other countries where you don't have faith in the people who lead us, like China, like Russia.
Okay, I found it. Oh my goodness, that was crazy. I'm gonna have to cut this out of the video and post editing. Like, what the heck? Okay, guys, so I just showed you Zelenskyy is they're literally talking about a ceasefire. They're literally Putin has said he wants to do a ceasefire if Trump leads the negotiations. But the dang Democrats, Biden, are trying to keep it going with all this crazy, just allowing all these missiles. Check out what Bongino leaks now, because the Democrats are not stopping.
Let's go. I told you that another BS liberal narrative, once they reorganized, which is starting, they're starting now to get it together a little bit. They're getting ready to pick a new DNC chairman. They're not going to sit back for long. And you want to know why? It's obvious. This isn't like some Dan Bongino Stygian witches moment. Folks, you have a lot of people with a lot of interests at stake. You've got green lobbyists who are getting billions of dollars from taxpayers for garbage, cow farting projects that are never going to work. You think they're going to let Trump dry that gravy train for themselves up without a fight? Hell no. They sit there, they lick their chops, they're up, and they're getting ready to fight again. But they need a narrative. You understand they need a guiding narrative to tell the public why they're doing what they're doing. Why? Again, it's obvious. They got their asses kicked. It's kind of hard to go back to the public and say, hey, look, we have a popular mandate to steal your tax dollars and give them to cow farting projects, when you just got your ass kicked in every single swing state. So they need a story. And what do I always tell you? The left is good at creating a story, but they're never good at telling you the story. There's a difference. They'll tell you a story, but they will never tell you the story. Here is this. I never really understood where this woman's coming from. She's a talking point queen. Here it is. Whenever you want to see where the left is going to go with a new talking point, I strongly encourage you to listen to Jessica Tarloff on The Five. I know it's hard. She is the queen of talking points. I don't know who feeds them to her, if she reads them in Playbook in the morning, but you can always see the direction the left-wing focus group is going to go. Here she is telling you exactly what I said they were going to say. Oh, this wasn't a mandate. He didn't get 50.1% of the vote, so none of this stuff really matters anymore. Watch. Your boy was ahead of this. Check this out. Tarloff, yes.
One thing, though, that and I'm not saying that there isn't a lot of work to do, because there absolutely is. For people who are talking about this as if we got completely decimated, the numbers don't bear that out. So Trump didn't cross 50% of the popular vote. So the majority of Americans didn't vote for him. And Senate Democrats performed really well. So people like Ruben Gallego, Tammy Baldwin, Jackie Rosen in Nevada, they ran 7-8 points ahead of Kamala Harris, which is what was predicted. And that does show that this normie coalition can't exist. It was that Trump had a special sauce at the top of the ticket for a lot of people.
Did we not say it? Did we not say that it doesn't matter what Trump does? 2016, he wins the Electoral College. No good. Despite the fact that's how federalism works. No, he didn't win the popular vote. Trump wins the popular vote. He didn't win the popular vote by enough. There is nothing this guy can do to convince these people on the left because they're not interested in evidence. You understand? If Trump would have won 51% of the popular vote, what do you think they would have said, folks? Folks in the chat, you know. Well, he didn't win like Reagan. He didn't win 49 states. Folks, this is a completely different country than it was in 1988 with monopolistic media control. It's totally different right now. You have two divided factions and almost no middle anymore. It's a different country. To win every single swing state and resoundingly win the popular vote, if you're not categorizing that as an electoral mandate for the MAGA vision of the country, then you're just an idiot or you're a hack. You pick. It's not just her. Here's Harry Enton on CNN, who, usually tells the truth, and his numbers are accurate. I don't want to knock his numbers. But again, they're cherry-picking data here to make it seem that this electoral slaughter that just happened wasn't. Why? Think behind the scenes. Follow the money, folks. Always was the title of one of my books.
Follow the money, everybody.
There are people right now who have been benefiting and suckling at the teat of government for the last 4 years under Biden. The gravy train is about to dry up. Green industries, fabs, people who benefited from the Inflation Production Act, the CHIPS Act, where you paid billion-dollar companies your tax dollars to boost their stock price. It's all going to dry up. You think they're going to go down without a fight? They need a narrative. And the narrative is, Trump isn't that popular. It's time to start fighting back. Here, watch this.
His popular vote victory ranks 44th out of 51. That ain't exactly strong. Some might argue that is weak, in the words of Tony Blair. In fact, his popular vote win at this point is the weakest, going all the way back. You have to go all the way back to 2000 to find a weaker one, a smaller popular vote victory than Donald Trump currently has.
I told you that's what's going to happen. They're going to now keep in mind when Barack Obama won a similar victory, it was the greatest electoral mandate ever. I warned you about this stuff. Again, they're going to continue to move the goalposts. If they mysteriously found 1 million new votes, Democrat style for Donald Trump, and he did win 51% of the vote, I promise you they'd move the metric again and say, well, Barack Obama got 51.11. It doesn't matter. What's the lesson for you here going forward? There are powerful forces with a lot of money working against you to move the MAGA agenda and flush it down the toilet. We're not going to let it happen. The mandate is real. You showed up. You brought 10 people. And who's chiming in now, too? You see how when the left puts their little, tentacles out there with a narrative, everybody scoops it up like an octopus? Everybody takes it and runs with it? Tarloff, CNN. Oh, look, here's Alexander Soros, Soros's kid. It is not a powerful mandate, and the numbers are important. This was a close election. Not a surprise. It was not a close election, dude. The election was over if you knew what you were talking about by 9 o'clock that night. He got his kicked. Oh, she got her kicked in this thing. Period. Trump wiped out the Democrats nearly everywhere. And if it wasn't for California scamming and all this other stuff with their counting votes, Arizona and California, 700 days after the election, this would have been an even more resounding House victory. And by the way, one thing the left isn't telling you, the only reason the House is even close is because scamming in California, endless vote counting in these districts, and also because they gerrymandered a couple states, everywhere from Alabama to New York. And then they complain about it when the same thing happens in a Republican state. That's the only reason they're even close. Don't believe the BS, folks. The mandate is real.
Yes.
And more bad news from the Democrats. Look at this tweet here about this polling data. Folks, this does not look good for them going forward. Puck News, which again is some like far right leaning outlet, a bracing new poll for Democrats. Voters approve of the Trump transition. Yes. GOP is now more popular than the Democrat Party. Yes. Most Democrats want to move past Kamala. I actually think that's a bad thing. I think you should nominate Kamala again. She was a wonderful candidate, best I've ever seen. Oh, look. Kamala Hillary, Guy said it right. Kamala Hillary, 2028. Guy, I am all in. Michael's going to get the PAC going today. Kamala Hillary PAC, we're all going to make donations to run ads to get them to run again. Oh, here's another one. Podcast boosted Donald Trump. Donald Trump at the end did about 5 or 6 podcasts. He did Theo Von, he did Joe Rogan, he did my show, Aiden Ross, and The Undertaker in the wrestling show, and maybe 1 or 2 more. And you know what? He won.
That's the big, I mean, this is the thing. Trump did things that not a lot of people thought he should do, but he did them anyway. He has this gut feeling. And what really makes me upset, guys, is I tell you, when I pull this news for y'all, this is literally a report from Congress. I just think like Trump's gut feeling is always to put America first. Right there, flag, American flag, always put America first. Try to take care of the taxpayers. This report came out this morning. This is where right here, the government intends to cancel 50%, $4.65 billion of the total indebtedness incurred by Ukraine. So we gave them this loans because people were mad. They were giving them billions and billions of dollars. So we said that we were going to make it a loan, and then we end up just forgiving it like a couple months later, and hopefully nobody pays attention because the mainstream media is not really going to cover this. Like this is the type of stuff that I'm just so upset about because we have to get an America First agenda. And where does that come with? It comes with Trump. It comes with the putting his people in place because the Trump effect is 100% real. We actually have it now where I'm telling you, Biden came into office, illegals started coming in. Trump comes into office, illegals start heading out. Check this out.
Since Trump's landslide victory, and migrants are deporting themselves.
They're deporting
Locals
themselves.
say the Haitians who settled in Springfield, Ohio, have already started shipping out. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a mass exodus after Trump confirmed he'll use the military to carry out mass deportations. People take Trump at his word. He's saying we can do this the easy way or we're going to do this the hard way. The illegals know the jig's up. If Borders Czar Kamala projected the same kind of strength, we wouldn't have a bloodthirsty gang infiltrating 15 states and counting. Instead, her legacy is going to be supporting sanctuary cities that protect tens of thousands of criminal illegals from deportation and letting the cartels man the border. Here's a witness from today's House DHS hearing.
A local resident whose property straddles the border told me about the screams of women and children he hears. I found discarded clothing, personal belongings, and chilling evidence of brutal assaults, all under the control of ruthless cartels like the Jalisco New Generation cartel. No one passes through without their approval. Among the discarded items, I found IDs, many belonging to children, some real, others forged or burned. One was the passport of a 5-year-old Colombian girl. a haunting reminder of the dangers these children face.
But Democrats on the committee chose to attack the witness rather than fix the problem. That's their MO. One California Democrat's falsely claiming that Trump is deporting doctors.
The mass deportations are going to have a negative impact on the U.S. economy. But it's also about lives and family and people who've been contributing to this country for years and decades. These are our neighbors. These are our friends. Some of these people are doctors and our nurses.
All right, Trump's not deporting your doctor unless he's in MS-13. Still out of touch, blue state politicians are digging in. They're going to promise to protect illegals no matter what.
The idea of calling out, the army into the domestic confines of the United States seems uncalled for and may in fact be unconstitutional and illegal.
That's not going to happen on my watch. We will not be participating in misguided efforts that harm our communities, and I've been incredibly clear about that.
We are not cooperating with those efforts that actually threaten the safety of everyone by causing widespread fear and having large-scale economic impact.
But AOC thinks protecting illegals doesn't go far enough. She wants mass amnesty for all of them.
We agree. Being undocumented is a problem. But our solution, instead of turning the military on our own people, is to document them. To document the undocumented. Pretty simple.
Incoming Trump borders.
Let me tell you this, guys. I just love it how you had no governor who said, oh, it's illegal for them to come into the United States, but they're literally trying to say it's illegal to take illegals out of the United States that are not supposed to be here anyways. These governors should lose their governorship just based upon that.
Our Tom Homan is here. Tom, first of all, congratulations. When you hear these Democrat governors and people like AOC saying that they're going to block any attempt to deport, what's your reaction?
They're obviously not very smart because President Trump is clear. Out of the gate, we're concentrating on public safety threats and national security threats. What politician, whether you're a mayor or a governor, is saying, no, I want public safety threats to remain in my community? I mean, give me a break. But, ICE is going to do it. And here's the thing. They don't let us in the county jail to arrest the bad guy, which means they're going to release the bad guy back in the community, put the immigrant community at greater risk of crime. It forces ICE agents into the community, which puts ICE agents at danger, but it also puts the immigrant community at danger because when we find a bad guy, and we will, there's going to be others with him, others that weren't even on our radar. So what they're saying is we're going to force us in the neighborhood to arrest more illegal aliens than what we originally planned to do. So their idea is just, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, they're going to invite more federal strength into those communities, and you're just going to wind up grabbing more of them and deporting them. Well, AOC is saying the answer is mass amnesty. I mean, it would save you a lot of work, but what do you say to her?
It's ridiculous. You're going to reward illegal behavior. You award amnesty, you're never going to fix the border. This country's shown over and over again that if you don't have consequences, they're going to keep coming. Awarding amnesty means millions of them are going to come and say, look, I can cross the border legally. I can lose my case in front of an immigration judge, and I still get to stay. And that's what people don't understand. People say mass deportation is a bad thing. No, we just had historic illegal crisis on the border. Millions of people crossed the border illegally. Every one of them committed a crime by crossing the border illegally. If you look at the immigration stats, 9 out of 10 of them will get an order removal. They have to be executed because if we don't execute those orders, then what the hell are we doing, Jesse? Just shut down the immigration court. Doesn't mean anything anymore. Take the border patrol off the border because there's no consequences. The law is clear. We'll give you a due process. You can have your day in court, but when your order removed, you're going to leave, and we're going to make you leave.
Are you going to deport doctors? They're saying that there's going to be migrant doctors in the middle of surgery, and ICE is just going to be dragging them out in their scrubs. Have you heard of that happening?
I have never heard of that happening. I heard the other day that we're going to deport U.S. citizens, too. I heard that one. But look, public safety threats, national security threats, fugitives, those who had due process at great taxpayer expense were ordered removed and went to hiding, fugitives. And look, if you're in the country legally, you're not off the table. It's not okay to cross this border. It's a crime. Every illegal alien that crossed that border committed a crime. And it's not okay if you be in this country illegally. I don't go 200 miles an hour to come to this interview tonight because I don't want to get a ticket. I don't lie on my taxes because I don't want to go get tax evasion. Well, it's not okay to be in this country illegally. So if you're in the country illegally, you got a problem.
All right. We don't want you getting pulled over, but if you do...
I'm telling you guys, and these, like, this type of mentality that you're hearing is what we need. This is why Trump picked all the people that he picked. And I know a lot of them are up in arms over Matt Gaetz, but this just came out this morning as well. So Trump and Speaker Johnson could force the Senate to adjourn, allow recess appointments. They've already got a plan. They've already got a plan, and they're trying, and they're already working to make sure that Trump's going to get his people. Check out this exchange. CNN came out and was like asking about Matt Gaetz and if Trump is going to retract his nomination. Listen to this. Oh, come on. Sorry, guys.
Mr. President, are you reconsidering the nomination of Matt Gaetz?
No.
Mr. President, are you reconsidering...
Guys, I love it. And look, I'm telling you this. You know that things are shifting when this happens right here. So, I don't know if you're a fan of The View, more power to you. I'm not really a fan of The View. So, the host, Sunny Hostin, however you say her name, comes out, says something about Matt Gaetz. And then she's literally forced by her producers to come out and retract her saying and watch her read because they told her, like, no, you don't just get to say things like that now because things are changing. Check this out. This is the before. Right now, it's the before.
How could you nominate someone with allegations of child trafficking across state lines and having sex with a 17-year-old? My understanding further on in the interview, they discussed the fact that once he finds out that she's 17, he stops having sex with her.
Sonny.
Okay, now here's just right after she said that, producers got in, things started happening. Listen to this now.
You have a legal note. I do have a legal note. Thank you, Whoopi.
A legal note.
Matt Gaetz has long denied all allegations, calling the claims, quote, invented, and saying in a statement to ABC News that this false smear following a 3-year criminal investigation should be viewed with great skepticism, that DOJ investigation was closed with no charges being brought.
You can't make this stuff up, guys. I'm telling you, people are tired of it. Even these producers are tired of it with these people coming on, just saying whatever they want. They're like, nope, things are changing. We're moving in a different direction, and it's time for us to move forward and get away from all this crap. We've got somebody who's just appointed by Trump who's literally ready to come in and clean house. Check this out.
We bring back in, hopefully we bring back in, I hope he can hear me, incoming White House Deputy Chief for Policy, Stephen Miller, is with us. Stephen, how are you?
I am good, Sean, my old friend. After 9 years, we are here on the heels of a landslide like the world has never seen before, prepared under President Trump's leadership to implement historical, transformative, long-awaited change to make this government accountable to the people of this country once again. It will be, as Donald Trump said, a new golden age for America.
I want to go through how dramatic this is going to be, because what I hear the president is proposing, and look at Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, and they're setting up this new department, and they're going to get rid of waste, fraud, and abuse, and they're going to they pledge to cut by July 4th, 2026, $2 trillion in federal spending. That is a monumental task. And there are ways to do it. I think one way to do it would be to increase revenues. That would be through energy dominance. That's a separate topic. But this is transformative, what the president's talking about. For the first time, we've heard conservatives for years talk about limited government, cutting waste, fraud, and abuse. And now somebody, for the first time in my adult life, if you will, to catch a phrase, I'm believing it's going to happen. How real is that they're going to cut to that extent?
Well, the president has put together the dream team, and you just mentioned two members of the dream team. So you have the Department of Government Efficiency that from the outside is going to direct and organize this extraordinary effort to remove all of the waste and the corruption from the federal government. So they will do that in concert and in league with the White House, President Trump, the Office of Management and Budget. Here's the shocking truth, Sean. The departments do not have any clue where the dollars are going. How many audits has the Pentagon failed? Who has any idea how much waste and abuse there is in the trillions of dollars spent by this federal government? Who has any idea how many hundreds of billions of dollars every year are stolen from taxpayers by fraud rings, scammers, foreign operatives? This government is not watching how your dollars are being spent. And President Trump has commissioned Elon and Vivek and many others across the government to get to the bottom of this. So the money that you earn as an American citizen will be jealously treasured and guarded and not wasted any longer. And we are going to go into these agencies and find everybody who is not performing on behalf of the American public. And we're going to say, if you're not providing that service, if you're not serving the public, then you can go.
The border has been a big issue. How quickly, in your estimation, can that border get secure, number one? And we have known terrorists in the country. We have people that have murdered Americans. We have the Laken Riley trial going on right now. Dozens of dead Americans murdered by Harris Biden, unvetted illegals. We have dozens of Americans raped, hundreds and hundreds victims of violent crime. We have gang members. We have cartel members in this country. How quickly do we secure the border? How quickly do we deport those that are criminal aliens in the country?
It's going to be at light speed, Sean. The moment that President Trump puts his hand on that Bible and takes the oath of office, as he has said, the occupation ends, Liberation Day begins. He will immediately sign executive orders, sealing the border shut, beginning the largest deportation operation in American history, finding the criminal gangs, rapists, drug dealers, and monsters that have murdered our citizens and sending them home. No one will be allowed to enter the country illegally, and ICE will be empowered in partnership with FBI, DEA, ATF, the National Guard to fully seal and secure the border with CBP and to find and identify the criminal threats that are inside this country and send them back home. We saw that heartbreaking testimony, Sean. Laken Riley, that precious, beautiful young woman, fought for her life against an illegal alien imported by Biden-Harris for 18 harrowing minutes. She fought for her life. And we are going to honor that extraordinary woman. And we're going to honor every victim who has suffered. Under President Trump's leadership, we are going to honor that suffering by unleashing a righteous wave of justice and sending these criminal migrants back home.
How do we ensure that the weaponization of the Department of Justice never happens in this country again? And that means it shouldn't happen to Republicans, it shouldn't happen to Democrats.
Right.
How do we get rid of political operatives that have deviated from their original mission that are inside important groups like the FBI or our intelligence community? How do we find those actors that are loyal to Clapper and Brennan and Comey, the deep state operatives, as we call them?
Well, dismantling the deep state and restoring democracy is going to be another urgent day one mission. Look, the Department of Justice and the intelligence community has undermined and sabotaged our democracy. They've tried to stop Donald Trump through third state despotic means. President Trump winning this election has also won a mandate to fundamentally reform the Department of Justice, the FBI, and the entire intelligence community. Tulsi Gabbard at the Directorate of National Intelligence will lead the effort to find those bad actors and to ensure that the intelligence collection process across all 18 intelligence agencies is done only to protect Americans, not to persecute them. At the same time, Matt Gaetz at the Department of Justice will reform DOJ to turn it again into the world's premier crime-fighting organization, not an arm of the Democrat Party. And we will find an FBI director who is going to likewise lead an effort to get the FBI back to basics, find criminals, find cartels, find gangs, find terrorists, and put them in jail or send them home. But do not use the awesome powers of the FBI to try to rig our democracy, as has happened in recent years. This is why President Trump is indeed the greatest champion of democracy in modern American history, because he weathered the attacks, he withstood the assaults, and now he stands here on the verge of taking the oath of office, prepared to make these agencies, make these departments once more answerable and loyal to the citizens of this country and to no other interest but them.
I love it. Do y'all hear that? Like, does that not feel patriotic in what he's saying and what he's doing? I want to show you this again for those that haven't seen this. This is big, everybody. Russian President Putin is open to discussing a ceasefire with Ukraine if negotiations are led by U.S. President-elect Donald Trump. Putin has ruled out any significant territorial concessions and demands that Ukraine abandon its NATO membership ambitions. This is the thing. Trump has been saying for a long time, we need to get to a deal. We need to make sure that we get no more killings, no more deaths. They've been fighting for 3+ years now. Remember, think about it. When Trump left office, you had Russia invades Ukraine. You have Iran, Hamas does that horrible attack on Israel. Like, it's just mind-blowing how many things happen when you got a weak leader in place. That weak leader also just authorized Ukraine's use of British missiles in Russia. And I'm over here thinking, like, what are you doing? They literally are calling for a ceasefire. They want to have peace, but when you have a weak president in place, that's whenever you see crap like this happen. But you know what I love? Is that I feel like more and more people are coming to the light. Check this out.
I do think we have a crisis of especially young men in this country. And they're, in many ways, disconnected from the rest of their families, disconnected from their communities, disconnected from our political culture, disconnected from our civil culture. And that's a real problem for a society that depends on all of us to be engaged and working together to make it as good of a country and as good of a society as it can be. I think the Democrats in this election made men feel like that the patriarchy is over, boys, and we're going to put you in the back seat for a while, and you're just going to have to accept it, without any thought to the ramifications of telling people who are out honestly trying to make a living, provide for their families, be good husbands, be good fathers. When you tell people who are doing their level best that either A, it's not good enough, or B, you're part of the problem, what do you expect? And then finally, as a political tactic, the attempt to put walls on the ticket, and that was going to somehow solve all of the problems that had been built up for years, was ridiculous, because it turns out Walz was the last person that men wanted to hear from. And I remember at the beginning of that whole campaign, when they put him on, I sat right here, and people were like, oh, they got camouflaged hats. They're going to be wearing them in the deer stands this fall. And I think to your point that you just made, that was not, that idea that was not formulated by a bunch of dudes who actually go deer hunting. It was come up with by a bunch of people who've never met a dude that actually goes deer hunting. But when you try to put that kind of window dressing on a real communications problem or a real relationship problem, it gets exposed immediately.
And I'm telling you what, they saw through it. The GOP now is making big rounds, everybody. And what I love is that it's all across the board, all across America. Things are changing big time. Sherry Garcia, thank you so much for the super chat. Patrick Nichols, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Y'all show them some love in the chat. Because again, the environment is changing. The Trump effect is changing everything. Check this out.
Fox News alert. The Secret Service is investigating an Antifa-sympathizing agent who just started parroting major anti-government and anti-Trump talking points online. This agent appeared to call Trump supporters Nazis, a Secret Service agent, and said the president-elect has Nazi-ass policies. Again, a Secret Service agent said that.
Wow.
The agent also shared that he's disgusted by his coworkers and the incoming Trump administration. Wow. So according to investigative journalist Susan Crabtree, the agent's reportedly been assigned to Kamala Harris's protective detail before these comments came to light. In a statement to Primetime, the Secret Service says the agent's duties have been modified while they conduct a review, and that his comments don't represent the views of the agency. Stay with Primetime for more on this developing story. Ahead, inside the left's plot to sabotage Trump's cabinet. A live report. Trump's cabinet picks have the country buzzing and the left's lashing out. Trump keeps announcing picks on social media like it's the NFL draft. Department of Agriculture, you're on the clock. Just hours ago, Trump named Cantor Fitzgerald CEO Howard Lutnick to be his commerce secretary and is expected to announce Linda McMahon as his education secretary at any moment. And yesterday, he announced Sean Duffy will be running the Department of Transportation. Sorry, Johnny. A moment of silence for Rachel Campos Duffy, who's now lost her work husband, Hegseth, and her real husband to the Trump administration. While America's getting reacquainted with winning, the media and the deep state have been working OT to attack anyone who Trump picks. You've got hackers leaking closed-door testimony against Matt Gaetz, and entire war rooms devoted to blocking Bobby Kennedy from HHS. One Democrat lobbyist is comparing him to Hannibal Lecter. Despite the best efforts from the left, most Americans support Trump's attempt to build his own coalition government.
Let's
however
go.
He wants. Almost every major appointee has positive favorables. Look at that. Trump has goodwill behind him and a message that's resonating across party lines. That's why most voters are supporting his transition so far. But not every pick's receiving unanimous support. Some Republican senators are dragging their feet on Trump's AG appointment. Trump's already been working the phones to personally speak with potential holdouts, and J.D. Vance is on the Hill, leading meetings between some cabinet picks and key Republican senators. And moments ago, Trump was just asked if he would pull Gaetz's appointment. His answer was simple.
Mr. President, are you reconsidering the nomination of Matt Gaetz?
No. If Congress doesn't get on the same page as the rest of the country, America could be forced to deal with a confirmation dogfight in the first week of Trump's presidency. Trump's made it clear he's ready to use an enormous amount of political capital to get his picks confirmed. But should he have to? Senior White House correspondent Peter Doocy is here. I mean, you can already feel the rumblings of these confirmation hearings, and we're like over a month out. What's going on behind the scenes?
Jesse, the president-elect needs a foil. He is not campaigning ever again. There is no clear leader of the Democratic Party. And while it does seem like a lot of the Republicans and Democrats...
Hey, everybody, thank you so much for your support. Guys, we are so close to 1,000 likes on stream. If y'all don't mind, click the thumbs up like button. Let's go. Let's get to that 1,000 likes.
Democrats on Capitol Hill get it, that he just won so convincingly that the American people want to, as much of a mandate as you can have, the American people want to give him a chance to get his people through. He needs something. And it seems like even with the majority, he is willing to pick a fight with these Republicans in his party who seem very, very unconvinced that Matt Gaetz, who we have heard, little birdies have told us here in West Palm Beach that he has been around, probably just dipping into Mar-a-Lago to make sure that everything is okay with the nomination. He will wait, and he can wait until they vote him down, if that is what it comes to.
Do you think Trump's picking a fight with Republican senators, or Republican senators are picking a fight with him? I mean, he's the president. He has both chambers. He has a mandate. It's not like he is appointing Hannibal Lecter himself. We know who these guys are. Doesn't he deserve his own cabinet?
It's a really interesting dynamic because Donald Trump is going to be the president for only 4 years. Some of the senators that were just elected are going to be there for 6 years. So there's a thought, maybe some of these Republicans that don't like a cabinet pick, they could wait Trump out. But if they want anything in the next 4 years for their district, if they want a picture of their kid doing a thumbs up next to the Resolute desk with Trump, they're gonna have to. They're gonna have to.
That's not happening. No picture, no Christmas party. You're gonna get tweeted at all the time. People just have to be careful. It's gonna be a dogfight. I think we're all prepared for it. All right, Peter Doocy working on his tandem.
Guys, I'm telling you, like, there's things that are coming out of the woodworks like never before. Patrick Nichols just brought up again about the $2.5 trillion that the Pentagon lost. I mean, this is why this is so important right here. The Department of Government Efficiency wants all federal workers back in the office. Guys, I don't think that they've just been doing their job. I feel like, and this is from experience, like, we've seen statistics that whenever people work from home, they work less. And this is going to blow your mind, everybody. Watch this. So right here, in March 2023, they did a 3-week sample period from January through March 2023. 17 out of 24 federal agencies only used 25% or less of their headquarters building's capacity. People not showing up for work. How are they holding them accountable? From that sample, the best agencies still did not use more than 50% of their building space. We literally have government agencies. That's why this is so important. We're going to actually get some work done, start stripping away all the fat, start making sure that we're getting our tax dollars actually being used efficiently. That is what is super important. And I just want to say thank you to everybody that's watching. If you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button so I can serve you every day with the top news. And if you don't mind, let's go. We hit over 1,000 likes on stream. Let's go. If y'all haven't hit the thumbs up like button, please do so. Thank you to all of our members of the channel. If you're not a member, the link is in the description to join. We use the members' money and super chats to give back on this channel during a live stream where we give to a charity. To me, that is 100% so like it is in line with my heart. I believe it's in line with this channel and the people that watch its heart of we want to bring positive change in this world. I want to give some shout outs to Sheila Brown, OG Dog, JGH, Sandra Mario Enzi, Mashawn Betty, Patrick Nichols, Sherry Garcia. Thank y'all so much. Y'all showed them some love in the chat, everybody. We appreciate y'all so much. We are here to serve y'all. Remember, Monday through Friday, 2 shows a day, and on the weekends we do 1 a day. We want to be here and give you the top news. We're going to show you things that you don't normally see on mainstream media. That's why we're True Life News. We want to bring the truth to you. We love you, we thank you, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.